computer. Okay, cool beans. We should be good now. Let me just make sure I have my Discord up just in case. Okay, so let's get started. So yesterday we talked about databases, right? We talked about SQL, structured query language, which is relational data. And then we talked about no SQL, which doesn't have any type of relation to the data. We can organize it and model it how we want. And then we went further into no SQL, no SQL databases, which is like MongoDB. And with learning how to build and manage databases like MongoDB, you can become like a data engineer, data scientist, or a data analyst, etc. It definitely helps you on your software developer, software engineer roadmap. But when we're talking about like blockchain and decentralization, MongoDB has, partnered with a team, to create a decentralized database. So, doing some digging with that and, to start gaining some knowledge, you'll definitely be on your way onto the blockchain, developer path. So, even if you're not on the developer's path, still just knowing this information, knowing what's out here, helps you with, your intellect. So, we want to definitely make sure that we're grasping the information and applying it as such. Now, today I have it kind of backwards, but that's okay. And we're probably not going to do algorithms. I'm going to change this around. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about Python. Really automating things in Python. We're going to, I'll give you an example of like web scraping and stuff. But I really want you guys to just know the intro to Python, what you can do with it. I'm going to give you two skills that are definitely in demand, definitely 100K skill sets with Python. And then you just, run with it as you wish. Let's go into sections really quick. Let me just double check. We are in software development and Python. Okay. So let's do this. Let me actually pull up here a PDF that I have for you guys. Actually, I should send it out too. I'm gonna send this out so you guys can kind of like follow along. But we're gonna start off in our Visual Studio Code. So everyone should have that downloaded. If not, please do, because what we're gonna do is start working with Python. Now, before we even get in here, hold on, let me send this to you guys so you can just have it. Upload file. And I'm also going to, where we at? Not downloads. I'm also going to put it in the Notion. So, the ones that's watching the playback will have it. But for right now and time's sake, I'm just going to send it through Discord. This is kind of something that you should follow along with as far as the beginning. It gives you a lot of, intro stuff. And again, the intro stuff is syntax. That's why I wanted you guys to go over JavaScript first, because it gives you a lot of in-depth information. So when we get to Python, it's kind of like, oh, already know what variables are and booleans and all this other jazz. But we will still go over it a little bit. Okay. Now, Python, it is a language. It's usually a back end language. It's not a front end, like, make anything pretty. It's used to grab data, is used to automate things. So it's more of a back end development type skill set. So when you start off with Python, you have to download, you have to install it on your computer. So you would go, I would say just simply Google search, Python download and go to the official website, python.com, click on Python download and let it get here. So it says download the latest versions. I already have Python downloaded, so I'm not going to download it again, but definitely click through it and download whether you have a Linux Windows, Linux, or Mac, or any other. If you kind of like already been through some of my courses or kind of have a little more, technical background, I would say always do these projects in Linux just to give yourself an extra skill set, or hone in on that skill set. So yeah, you've probably downloaded Linux before, you've probably, used some of these things, but how about, just doing everything in Linux? You probably, like download Python in Linux, or we was doing APIs. Why don't you do that in Linux? Which is really like having a virtual machine, installing Linux on it and going full throttle. I think that's, really good to, build your skill sets. But if not, this is your first time playing around or downloading this, then just do it with your local computer, which is your Windows or your Mac. Okay. So you're going to download it. Once you download it, you are going to go through some prompts, just like you would download any other system. It's going to ask you, do you want to make changes? And it's going to go through, just click OK and all this other stuff, right? Pretty simple. But to ensure that you have Python downloaded, you do have to go to your terminal. Oh, terminal didn't pull up here. Your terminal, as you can see, and you can basically just say pi, right? Wherever you're at, you can say py, and that'll check and see if you're running Python. If you're not running Python, you will come up with an error, and if you are, it'll tell you, what you're running. And I am running Python 3.11, latest Python on my Windows. Okay, so we have it. We know that it's installed. That's the first thing you definitely want to do. Now, let me come back. I shouldn't have did that. Let me go back to my command prompt. Now with Python installed, right? You'll also see other things. So to activate Python, again, we do pi, or we could say Python 3, and you'll know that you have Python activated with these characters. You'll have the arrows, and that's how you know you're now working inside of Python. You're using this software, this module. And, it's as simple as just doing like the same as JavaScript, doing like a mathematic operations, 2 plus 2, and you would do enter, and that's just, 4. So you could do simple math stuff, simple things, right? But we're trying to create scripts. We want to do a little more intelligence. So we would want to, put in our variables and all that good jazz. So let me go ahead and close out of this, and I'm gonna pull up my Visual Studio Code. Again, you guys should have this already downloaded, but if not, this is the time where you should have it. So as we know, we're gonna pick our language, and our language is Python. Now, just a refresher on what's in this PDF. I'm just going to go over a few things just so you understand. Now, to generate any output that you want from your script, that you want from Python, you do have to use the print and parentheses, and you put in your parentheses whatever you want to print, whatever you want to, say. Whatever you want to output, that's the case. And that's really, specific to Python. So you can say print. A lot of times you may see hello world. So you will print and put in a string, hello world, right? And it'll do just that. Let me actually go into the terminal here. I'm going to do new terminal, and the terminal is going to come into my Visual Studio Code, which is, my PowerShell. Okay, and then if I do py, which I should do Python 3, that's kind of like the legitimate way you should do it, instead of just pi, the shortcut, because you could run into issues. So I can literally just say, print. Actually, I'm gonna do more syntax for you guys. I probably wouldn't do just print hello world. But I could just say print hello world and hit enter, and the next line will put my output. And my output is that I wanted to say hello world. Okay, and that's all it did. It said hello world and it ignored everything else. That is basically how you get output from a Python script. You have to do the print uh, syntax. As we know already with variables, we kind of can create, let's do a comment. We can create comments. We kind of talked about that, but in Python, we have our, you can say a number key, number sign. So we're going to create a variable, and that variable can simply the same way we already name it savings. What do we want that savings to be? Let's say the savings is $100. Okay, so anytime we call on savings, it's $100. So that's our variable. Our variable is savings. We can also create a some type of float, and a float is, let's create a float. And a float is a number, half number, it's a number with a decimal. So we can say we want to grow this $100 growth, we call it growth multiplier. I don't think I spelled that right. Multiplier. MULTIPLIER. I can't spell, y'all. Growth multiplier equals, and we're going to equal it a float. So a float again is not a whole number. So we can say 1.1, right? It's going to grow, 1.1. We can say that's kind of equal to like 10%. We could say that. And again, we're just talking about floats. Floats is a number that is not whole. It has to have some type of decimal. Okay, so it could be 1.10, it could be 1.3, 2.5, whatever it is, that's a float. And that's how we create a float, just putting a decimal, right? Pretty self-explanatory. What else do we want to have? We can have, we got a variable, a float. Let's say if we're in the same thing, savings, we want to save, we want to grow this savings, and then what's the result of these savings? So let's calculate a result. And the result is, we can say the result is our savings account times our, I don't know, growth multiplier. And I'm just giving you a use case. Obviously, we would have something, multiplier. And, let's say that's over the span of 7 years or something, right? And then, of course, if you wanted to, print, let me make this easier for y'all, print out the results, you would do, how do you print out an output? How do you get an output? The print in the parentheses, and then you will put result, okay? So what we have here is we created a variable called savings, and we gave that variable, something, a value, which is 100. And then we created a float, which we would say, hey, we're going to grow this $100 by 10%. And then we wanted to know the results of that, if that was like, an arbitrary number like 7 years. If we want to know how much our savings would grow over, 10% annually every year. So we can do a result equals savings times our float and to the 7th power. And again, this result equals savings is just a function, and we're calling upon that function. So instead of saying every time, what is savings? What is my savings times my growth? What is that result if I keep doing 7 years? Or I can just create it in a function and call upon this function every time I want the result of my savings times my growth, right? You kind of went over that in JavaScript, but I'm just reiterating because it's the same, but a little different. For me, Python is just much easier than any other language out there. It's just simple, plain, and easy to read. JavaScript is kind of the same. It has a little bit of intricacies to it, But again, it's both the same. So if you went through the JavaScript course, this is kind of just a refresher, low key. And again, we talked about, you know, we talked about creating a string. We already know what a string is, right? It is something that is in quotation marks. So we can say that, as a description, let's say description equals, description of this equals compound interest, because that's what we want. Okay, and that's a string. Again, the string is anything in quotations. So that's a string. It has to start with a quotation and end with a quotation. And we're calling upon something. Let's see. And then we had our booleans, right? So we can create a bool, or we can say a boolean. And again, that's just comparing true or false. And let's just say we would create a profit. Is it profitable? Profitable. And let's just say true, right? It is true. So yeah, basically, this is kind of all you really need to know to get started with Python before you start going into, your conditionals and such. If you want to do something that's not working, that you want to, try different things out. But as far as just, regular intro to Python, and if you haven't did anything with JavaScript, these are the kind of things, these are the basic, the bare bones that you want to wrap your head around. Let's see, because again, we went through JavaScript, so I don't want to go over too much that you kind of already went over, but I definitely want you guys to ensure that you know syntax. You know all of these, so you should be, good with, create an array, which is, things in a type of list. So you can do something like, create a whole bunch of variables. Let's say, we can keep the savings variable. Let's do savings 1, is 200. And then we can do savings 2 equals 300. So we're creating these variables that we're going to put in a array. So we can say, let me just do one more just to have 3 savings. These are all my savings accounts, savings 400. And then I'll put these in an array by saying, let's say we'll call this whole thing, what do we want to call this whole thing? Let's just call it money. Let's just say we called it money. We're just making up stuff here, but I want you to see how you put, an array and things. So all these are in money, and we are going to add money to, you have to do not the curly brackets, the regular brackets, and put in these names. So you will put savings 1 with a comma, savings 2 with a comma, and savings 3, right? And then you would print out money, print with your parentheses and say money. And then when you execute that, money will just print out savings 1, savings 2, savings 3. Again, same thing as JavaScript. Is literally, kind of the same. It's just there's little different things to do with it, because JavaScript is, solely developed for, interactive websites. So it's more of a front end thing. So Python is more of a back end thing. It's going to grab information and automate things for you and such. So they are one and the same, but they do different things, if that makes sense. But yes, array, I created some variables. I put those variables in a array, which is this syntax right here. And then I wanted to print money, and money is going to print what's in my array. So anytime I want to print, money, it's going to print my savings 1, savings 2, savings 3. This is really, really good for, blockchain development and, smart contract development, because Solidity is a spinoff of JavaScript, Python, and I think C++. Not sure, but I know that it's Python and JavaScript that Solidity was built upon. So, it's literally doing the same thing. If I'm going to create an array, and let's say I want to create a ledger, and that ledger, you're going to put, I'm going to, mark everything that every transaction that happens on this ledger, I would create an array. And, I would do some things. We'll get more into it, but, arrays are really important for you to understand. And, the place marks of it, because we have things called index 0. So this savings 1 will actually be in the 0 place mark. This savings 2 will actually be in the 1 place mark. And this savings 3 will be in the 2 place mark. Excuse me. Because we count starting off 0. We do not count with 1, because 0 is still a number. Okay, so make sure you understand that. And that's why we learned in the beginning about ones and zeros. Computers speak ones and zeros, so it only makes sense that we start off counting with the computer at 0. Okay, that's really important. Let's see. What else can we do here? Because I already did arrays. I don't want to do too much. That's my computer. Sorry, guys. And that, well, we don't need to get too far into that, because that's kind of more advanced things you can do. But yeah, so I sent that PDF. I think you guys should go over the PDF. It goes a little more into in depth of it, as far as doing these same things, creating lists, creating arrays, creating these booleans, and so you can kind of see more of how it looks. I don't want to go too deep into it, because that was the whole point of giving y'all the JavaScript access, so you can already know how to create a boolean and all these things. But if you wasn't really into JavaScript, didn't go through that, or say you just want a refresher, the PDF is what's going to give you step by step, literally every single syntax. And remember, if you need more syntax, you can go to W3 Schools, or you can just Google a syntax that you need. Okay, so that's really the basics with Python. Let's go ahead and do some, let me see what we can do before we automate. I want to make sure that I got at least the basics, so you can kind of understand what I'm about to code here. Before we move on, do you guys have any questions or comments on what just happened there? No? Okay, cool.
Can you run it so we can see what it looks like after you run it?
Yeah, how about this? How about, because this was just a whole bunch of jargon. Let's do, okay, yes. Let's do this. Let's do year 1. And we're gonna do a string, right? Year 1 is 2017. And let's do, for this year, I'm gonna just do an example that I do most of the time. Basically, so what I use Python for, I started with Python with using it for automation, of course, at work, because I'm a network engineer, but we have to automate things so we're not sitting there doing the task over and over again. But as I start to advance and get in blockchain and trading and stuff, I start using Python to build my own trading bot. So I've kind of been playing around. That's why I'm teaching you guys web scraping, because I've been playing around with company. Maybe I shouldn't talk and at the same time. I'm playing around with scraping data from Yahoo Finance to figure out, moving averages, daily moving averages and stuff in that sort. So I've been doing a lot of creating my own scripts in the sort. So I would take someone else's script from Stack Overflow, which we'll talk about, or even Reddit, and then I'll try to manipulate it to fit where I want it to do, which I know that, again, a trading bot's going to take some time, because it's, my trades, it's my analysis. So basically what this example is, we're going to, get some information, which I'm putting it in, which we have year one in 2017. The revenue in 2017 was, 229.23, which is a float. So we did a string, a float, a variable, and this company is Apple. So we're going to pull some data and let's create this sentence because we want to run something and you guys want to see it. So let's create a sentence to put these strings together, put this data together. So we have sentence is what we're going to say. Did I spell that right? Sentence. Yeah, okay, sentence. And this is a function that we're creating. And the sentence is, let's put one, the revenue of space. And if you went through the JavaScript course, then you know how to put strings together. And that is, with certain type of spaces and plus signs. So I'm not gonna go too far into that. With company one, because it already showed, hold on, company underscore one, and plus, and then our quotation, plus space in space. Space is really important. That's what I've learned. Of one thing, it was been hours realizing that you have missed a space. Plus, plus year one string, plus, oops, plus, we're gonna say it was this amount in dollars. And then was in this dollars plus my revenue string. Okay, and this revenue string is in billions. Oops. So we're gonna do plus, and we want the output to give it to me in billion, period. And let me just make sure I did that right here. Okay, that should be what it should be. That's pretty simple. So I made some strings, some variables, floats, as you can see, and then I put these strings together. So I want it to come out in a sentence. So I have these, variables, and I want these variables to make sense. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print it out. And in Python, you always do print with the parentheses. And I want to print this function. And the function is sentence. Okay, sentence. That should be good. Now, in order, since I'm in Visual Studio Code, what I have to do is save it. So I actually have to go into File and Save As. And let's see, let's do it on desktop. And let's do it as a test.py. We want to save it in Python. That's how we saved ours in HTML. Let's save it in Python. Save. It's saved. Here is my path up here. So I need to come down. Let me exit out of Python. Oops, I got to exit with my parentheses. So I'm just in right here. If you can see, I'm in my terminal. If you guys took the terminal little lesson here, then you kind of know how to navigate it. So I have to make sure that I'm in the correct right folder, which I am not. So I have to do change directory and go to OneDrive and then enter. Now I'm in OneDrive folder, as you can see down here, but I need to get to my desktop. So I'm going to change directory and go to desktop. Okay, now I'm in desktop. Now I can run this file, which is called test.py. So you got to do Python 3. You can do Py, but I think with the updated version, you have to actually spell out Python 3. So just so we don't run into any errors, let's just always type out Python 3 when we want to run a Python script. So let's do Python 3, test.py, and let's enter. And let's see what it will run. It may take a little time. And as you can see right here, it ran. All I wanted to do was print my sentence. And the sentence says the revenue of Apple in 2017 was 229.23 billion, okay, in dollars. So all I did was add some variables, add some things that we already talked about, put it into a function and called upon that function. So anytime I want to call upon my sentence, I want to know, what my sentence is, I just keep saying print sentence and it'll go. And again, this is me creating a script, saving the script and running. I can run it probably in Windows, PowerShell. I can probably just do like the whole thing there. So maybe if I do, let me go to Pi, I'm in it. Let's see if I can copy this, go back into PowerShell, paste it, enter, and there you go. I was able to run the script and it said the revenue of Apple in 2017 was this billion. So I can, copy and paste and put it right directly in my terminal, or I can just save it and run it in my terminal. That's in, that's usually how you do it. You save it, then you run it. But, with Python, you can definitely just, type it just like you do in JavaScript on the JavaScript console. So that's kind of how that all looks. It's all about, again, printing the output, and the output is whatever my script is. Okay. Did that kind of help you a little bit with showing how it looks printed out?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so like I said, again, I use this a lot to print out data for me. And let me show you here. So what we're going to do is start off with, just learning how to do simple, automation with Python, which is how to read a file, have a file that, you have in your text, in your notepad, read that in your terminal, and then start writing to it, start changing it. So you don't have to do that manually, right? So let's me pick up a file here. Let me see. Let me get where we're at. Python, let's just do some regular file. I don't even think I have oh, I do. I have something from last class. Let me pull that up. That's actually easier for us to do. It's it don't take a lot of time too, because I don't want to take too much time here. Let me see. Where's last class at? Okay, cool beans. Here we go. So here's a file, and it's just a whole bunch of arbitrary data. And let's just, let's just say that it is some people's names, their ages, and P and F is either pass or fail. Let's say it was a survey or some test or something, and they got their ages, and we have their pass or fail on the survey, right? Just some arbitrary data, nothing too crazy. Now, let's say that we want to read this file. We take this file here and we want our terminal to spew out this information for us, read it for us. So all we have to do is save the file. So you can create a file, whatever file you want to create. This is just some different type of data. So it's up to you if you want to use this example or not. Now, we name it input file, and we can do .txt because it's just a text file, but it should already be, there for you, so you don't have to manually do it. But yeah, save it in your desktop somewhere where you can find it easily. That's where I like to save my files because it's just easier for me. So you save it. And as you can see at the top, this is the name of it, okay? So let's go ahead and clear this out because we don't need this anymore. We're about to automate some things. We can keep it. We can rename this test PY later. Okay, so in order to have, Python read this file here, we have to, use a function and, a couple strings. Well, really probably one string. So we have our built-in function and we have to, open. And our built-in function open, again, we want to open the file so we can read it. And what do we want to open? We want to open our file that we just named. And what did we just name it? We named it, file, input file. So let's go ahead and put that and say we want to open input file and .txt. We already have to have the extension. Okay, so we have our built-in function open, and we want to open what? Our file. Now, one more thing we have to add is what do we want to do with this file, which is read it. So we have this same kind of keyword, well, letter, which we have our quotations, and the letter is R because it's for read. So if we want to write something, it would be W. So it's kind of, again, self-explanatory in a sense. And then all we want to do is print out. We want to print our function and read it. So that's, f read. And I believe we do have to put in the double parentheses. Maybe we can run it and see. I believe so. Let me see here. Read.
If you use double parentheses, wouldn't that turn it into a string?
You mean inside of
The,
my function, inside of my output?
yeah, inside of your output.
Yes, it's an open, it's an empty. So it's basically like an empty function, and S is going to basically read this string right here, which is input file dot txt. So that's essentially what that's going to do. That's why you put after the read, you put the two, you make it open, make it empty. You don't put anything in it. And then after that, you do the same thing, but since we are reading a file, we have to close it. That's just a rule with reading files, even opening files, really just with automation, because the only thing I really did have been able to, complete with this was, changing writing, what we will call changing of files. And I always, close the script with this syntax here. And again, it's closing it to say, hey, I want you to open it, close it. That's all I want. It's just this file right here. It's being very, very specific. So let's go ahead. That's all you need right here. I don't know if I have to possibly, no, this should be good. So let's go ahead and say file. Let's do file save as, and let's do, instead of test, let's do file, because we're going to build upon this. Let's do file input output system, file IO. Which you guys should really ingrain, really get an understanding of what file IO is, which is input output. And that's kind of like the fundamentals of programming. You're going to input something and we're going to output something. We're going to put something in, get something out. So yeah, let's save it here, save as, and we are at our desktop still. Yes, we want to call upon this, and let's do Python 3. And what is our file name? It is file IO, file IO.py. And we're going to run it. File.io. Yeah, we're going to run it. Again, it takes a little bit, but it gave me an error. Let's see. It says function, line 1. Oh, because I think I missed something here. I think I put file input and this right here, which is a comma. I didn't put the comma in, which again, these are like little things that you just get, that you just miss. So save it as again. Hopefully I did save as, yeah. Let me exit. I'm gonna do save because I already know where I want it. I just had to update that little comma there. All right, so now let's call upon that one more time. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let me push that up a little bit. Okay, so we called upon that. Let's do enter. And as you can see, it read the file of what the file was. And the file was my names, the ages, and pass our file. So that's just simple reading a file from your desktop, right? Some type of, thing that you don't have to go in, find, and click. You can just literally put it in a string and call upon that string, and you have it in your terminal. Let's see. Usually at work, again, my current position, I'm a systems engineer. So what I do with this function, with this script, is I have to run reports. And there's a lot of times where I have to get, certain types of reports. So I deal with a ticketing system called Peer or ServiceNow. I don't know if you guys may be in help desk or not. You definitely will hear that technology. But if not, it's a ticketing system. It's just somewhere the user put in a ticket and then it goes to my department. So I have to filter out those tickets and only get tickets that's in my department. That's Dialpad and Microsoft and Cisco. Those are the systems that I manage. So yeah, so I would have to, just get those type of tickets, get those files and just run it. And then, I'm able to see what's happening. Now, there are times where I have to get this file, I have these files, and then it's like, well, what about the tickets that are only for changing their phone numbers? Or what about the tickets that are for software issues? Or what about the tickets that, are just for name changes or something? Like I have to be specific. So putting as a use case, as a scenario in this example, let's say I only wanted to grab the P's, only the pass rates. I don't want to look at this whole file, I only want to look at, pass. So let's go ahead and create a script so we don't have to literally sit here, copy and paste every P. We can just make the computer give us all the P's. And we could just, save that document and then send it to our manager instead of, again, copying and pasting every single one, which could lead to errors. And we probably didn't get all of them, or we probably just didn't do it. Whatever the case may be, let's let the computer do it. So again, that's called writing files. So let's write a file. So it's kind of the same. We're going to do a, open. We're going to open this file, but instead of R, well, we're still going to read it, but let's make another line. And we're going to, again, we're going to create a new file, but only with the passing rates of this survey. So let's create this folder called pass file. And let's say we're going to open this pass file because we created it, and we're going to put it a string. And again, we're going to name it. We're doing all this from here instead of, going to our desktop and creating a folder and creating the document and then copying and pasting the document. Like, we don't have to do all that. Let's go ahead and create this script. Open pass file is what we're going to call it in camel case. It's going to be in our regular, text file. Don't forget this freaking comma. And then we're going to write to this file. Okay. And don't forget to close that thing back up. All right. So we creating a file, a file called pass file. And we're going to open that pass file and we're going to write to it. And what do we want to write? We want to write all the P's. So this is how you would do that. You would do again, if you did JavaScript, then you know about for loops and conditionals, and you know about the loops and whiles and stuff. So we're going to create a for loop. So a for, we're going to put line because these are lines that we want. And in this type of file, we want the line to be, we want to split the line. And we have to split the line in order to for the computer to read it, to grab only the P's, which we want. So we do split line equals, you have to do the split line again, but this time we have to keep it empty. Let me make sure I said split, so y'all ain't telling me I'm spelling shit wrong. So split, and then this is another split, right? And then we're going to keep it empty because what are we going to do? We're going to split the line. If the line ends in, let me see all these paths. Okay. So when it splits the line, that means that this and this, you see these two, Chloe and Natalie, they're going to create a break. It's going to be like an open space in between them. Okay. So we're going to split the line. That's what that means. Why do we have to create a break? So the code can literally go through each line and read if something has a P, something has an F. Okay. We have to split it. Why? I don't know, but I know we have to split it. That's just what I was taught. With the rhyme and a reason, I've honestly heard like 2-3 different things. So I suggest you Google that and figure out why you have to split the line for the computer to read it fully. And that's probably due to, again, zero indexing, because it's, even though it's a space, it's still counted as something. So I don't know if you guys took physics in high school. I had to, and physics, we have 1 plus 1, it wouldn't equal 2, it equals 3, because the plus sign is, you still count that, it's some type of variable. So you do 1 plus and then 1 all together to equals 3. I don't know if you guys took physics or not. They made us take that in school because they're lame. But that's kind of how computer language is anyway. But anyway, we're going to do our if. So we're going to split it. And then once our line is split, which it will be, so if it's the split, then we are going to index it to 2. So again, 0, 1, 2. It looks like there's no certain order in this. Yeah, it's just pass, fail, yeah. So we don't have to specify anything. So yes, once the line is split, it's going to check every line. We have the 2. So 0, 1, 2, it's gonna check these 3 lines and check it to see if it is equal. Do we want to say strict? We could say strict. Strict equal to P. What is P? P is pass. So if when it split these lines and it go through each line, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, it's going to see is any of these equal P, right? Any of these equal the P that I said, the pass is what we're going to call it, but the computer knows it as P. Okay. Okay. So now we want to pass this file. Let's see, pass file, and we're gonna write. So all these P's that the computer collected, we're gonna write that. And we're gonna write that. We have to say line, and again, it's gonna write that on each line, just like this. It's gonna come in, but only the P's. That's why we're specifying line instead of it just being jumbled like a paragraph. That's why we say line. And then we don't need the read here. So pass, let me just make sure, pass, and then our line, and then we gotta close it. And then we can add our pass file, close. Again, we're gonna keep our pass file open. We're gonna create it, open it, add some data in it, which is, we're gonna look through this here and only grab the P's, right, from each line, any line that has a P that's true to a P, and we're going to write that line in this new file. That's basically what this code is saying.
Don't you need like what's it called, colon by the P right there?
A colon by what P? Right here?
Yeah.
Actually, yes, I sure do. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. What else I need? Let's see, pass file, right. I got my 2 commas because that comma was killing me last time. That should be good. Well, let's take this. Let's actually do just print, because I want to print this first before we can do that. That's okay. We can, let's do that. Let's do line split. Let's just print. I don't want to print line. So we're gonna print just this line, which is only the P's. How about that? Let's stick to, yeah, let's stick to that. Because what we can do, okay, I'm gonna show you guys this first, and then we can go to, I'm just gonna show it to you guys all. I'm not gonna break it up, because if I break it up, then we'll probably have to do a little more of the basics. So let's go back to pass line. Pass. And what did I say? Right. Let's go right, wrong, right. And I'm gonna write on the line of all the P's. and I had a close. Let me do it under here. Pass file dot close. Let's do that. Close and then closing parentheses. Let's do that. Open. Okay, so we're gonna open it. We're gonna open this text file, which I should have renamed here. Let's do this. Let me make sure I have it renamed. We're gonna go in here, file, save as. Yeah, we have it as input text file. Okay, cool. And then we're going to cancel. And I just want to make sure I don't mess it up here. I'm going to go to another text file. Select the language, Python. I don't want to rewrite anything. All right, cool. So now that is what we have. And you get this in the comment. Okay, cool. So now let's file, save as, and let's save it as here. We're going to take that and let's do, did I already name it file IO? Let's do file IO x.py, just so we can differentiate that. Okay, now I'm going to run it. And again, I should have showed you just the simple way, which is just getting the P, but we're going to create a folder and get the P's at the same time. And that's what this code is going to do. So we got Python 3, move my cursor, Python 3, and we're going to open, it's called file IO x.py. And I'm going to press enter. Let's let it run, see if it has any errors. And let's see, I'm gonna put this up here so you guys can see what happens. Okay, there we go. So it gave me an error. It says pass file.write line, unexpected indent. Of course, it's an indent. It's expected some type of indent, which the indent should be, it should be under this right here, underline, because we're calling upon this. Yeah, that's why it should be an indent. So let's just save it again. And that should be good. Let me run it. All right, so I gave the indent, it took it, and you know that it went through because it didn't give me an errors and it went right back to desktop. So what I can do is I can pull up my files and I can, let me pull up my files. And I can, let me show you guys, come here. And what do we name it? File IOX. So I can literally go to, where we at? File IOX right here. Okay, so no, it's not in my desktop. Let's go to OneDrive and then desktop. Let me see exactly where my file is. Jessica, OneDrive desktop. Okay, so I probably have to go through this whole thing. This PC, local C, what is it? Users, Jessica, OneDrive, wherever that said. OneDrive. It's this OneDrive that be having me going all these places. OneDrive and then desktop. And then desktop. And then we will see our file, our pass file, right? Where's our pass file? This our pass file? Yes, right here. And if we open it, it may take a little time. I don't know, my computer's moving a little slow, y'all. But we named it, what did we name it? Pass file. We're gonna open pass file, write. We're writing all the P's, which is the passing. So we created a file, add the passing in the file, and created this file on our computer. There we go. And as you can see, it has created a pass file. So we didn't have to manually collect every P. We didn't have to do none of that. We just created a simple script, and it just already created this. And literally all I have to do is say file. Well, it's already saved, and I can now just attach it to the email and say, hi to my manager. Here's all the people that passed, and that's a real case scenario that I do at work. I would say, hey, here are all the tickets that, deals with number changes or deals with so-and-so. Because that's really the only reason why I use Python at work is to run reports. And this saves so much time. I'm trying to tell you, this saves so much. But you can do the same thing with Fs. So I can just literally change it. Instead of pass file, I could say fail file, obviously name it different, put the F here, and then it'll give me my Fs. Again, that's kind of like the most simplest thing you can do with automation with Python, and it will save you. And the fact that you know the script, you know how to do this, you can do this at work, get paid, or just help yourself, help other people. Like I said, on Upwork or Fiverr. I myself got this information from someone on Upwork. I paid him $45 for him to teach me for 1 hour how to automate my task at work. And he gave me some scripts. He told me how to use these scripts. And again, I already had my past knowledge of Python on a very basic level. So I kind of already knew what a variable was, what a function was. I knew these things, strings and stuff. He just had to tell me how to put it all together. And he told me one way of this line split, which was zero indexing. And then my senior engineer at the job told me something totally different about line split. And I mean, he's been on the job for like 20 plus years, so I guess he's right, but it was not what I had learned. So regardless, whether I know what it is or not, I know how to automate my job. And I only had to pay $45 to do that. And again, I put this on my resume and they're like, oh, you know how to automate with Python. Here's, 90K off rip. And all I did was pay $45 to learn this, to get it, because he actually, hooked me up and did everything. But anyway, yes. So file IO will really help you fully understand this. And again, it's file input output. Let me actually send you guys something in Discord, a link, so you can kind of, get a little spun up on what input output is. That's a good term to throw around. Now, let's go over our last thing is web scraping, okay? And I wanna show you web scraping so bad because I had to learn this for my clients, okay? And like I said, they needed geolocation, which is, they needed location of what was around them. Like companies, businesses, restaurants and stuff. So we had to grab that information from Google, Yelp, and we used another site, I forgot. And we literally just grabbed that data from the site and input it into the database. And yes, the app is able to, look at places near them because we was able to grab that data. And you can do a lot of things with that. Let's say I wanted to, let me pull up my browser here. Let's say this is where we're gonna go here. Quotes to scrape. This is a really good place to start off with, you wanna learn web scraping. So let's say with these quotes, I want these quotes in a PDF file, right? And I only want the quotes. So what we can do is we can literally just come here, click, copy, paste it. Come here, click, copy, paste it. And that'll take us forever, especially if there's like thousands of quotes. So let's just scrape all the quotes from this website and put it in this nice document, and we can do whatever we want with it, right? Saves us hours of time. Now, one thing why I made you guys go into HTML is in order to scrape data from a site, you have to kind of know a little bit of HTML. So you would right click on the website, go to inspect, and you see the whole website in its HTML code, okay? And as I hover over it, it tells me where I'm at, okay? So I only want my these quotes. I don't care too much about who it's by or even the tags. Maybe I don't care about the author and the tags. I just literally want the quotes. So the quotes will be somewhere in this HTML document. We just have to find it. Now, what I can say, let's see, we already know how to read a little bit of HTML. So we know like, okay, this is a row and it's already highlighted too. So that's something we wouldn't want, but we want something in here, right? Because it's highlighted. So this is what we want. So if we click open, oh, it's already open. Click open. And as you can see, it's in somewhere where it has the div class. And if you look into the div class a little more, you see a span class. So it's something in the span and class that we want. We want these quotes in there. Again, they're somewhere in this span class tag. As you can see, we highlighted this. And if we go down a little bit more under the header, it's somewhere in here. We just obviously can't really read it. So let's go ahead and grab this stuff from this code. So the first thing is, obviously, we're going to bring up our Visual Studio Code. Let's go ahead and create a new file. We don't want to get anything jumbled up here. We're going to select the language, select this Python. Okay, so the first thing is you definitely have to do is you have to install a few things. You have to install your request and Beautiful Soup and LXML, which are things to help really just take out the data that we want. We want to isolate certain data. So we want to import request, which is our Python request. We already installed Python, so we good with request. So that's how we're going to import our request. This right here, import request. What else we need? We need our Beautiful Soup, which is embedded in Python, so it's not like something too crazy. So we're going to import from Beautiful Soup, and we have to actually say Beautiful Soup. Import, and it should already be a keyword. Yep, Beautiful Soup. All right, and then we're going to we want this information, we want to get it from this URL, and we have to copy the URL. So we're going to say URL equals, put it in our quotations, and let's go back to our website, and we're just going to get the URL because this is the site that we want to scrape. So just copy it, and then we're going to put it in here, paste it in here. All right, and it's in our string. And then let's say we want some type of response from this request, and that request is going to give me that response from a URL, which is again our URL. So we're literally just saying, hey, I want you to get some information from me, and this is where I want you to get the information. Okay, and we're pointing it to where we want, which is again the URL. And the URL, when it says equal, we put in a string. Okay, we're creating a variable. So let's go down our response, and we want to isolate this data. We want, of course, Beautiful Soup to get it. So we want a response from Beautiful Soup. And again, Beautiful Soup is where we're going to be able to isolate data. It's going to work with Python to isolate data. I would say 90% of data scientists kind of use Beautiful Soup. I know there's something else that they use, but my times of working with data scientists, they use Beautiful Soup. And there is someone on the team, he's probably not in this class, but he does a lot of my web scraping when I can't do it. He started this project with me early in the year, and he does a really good job. But you can do it too. So cool. We have our Beautiful Soup. We're going to get this information from Beautiful Soup. We want the response. The response will be in text, just like how this is in text, readable. And we're also going to use LXML, which is, this type of, same with Beautiful Soup, some type of query to, again, show me this information. I want to isolate. I don't want everything on the website. I only want certain things, and LXML and Beautiful Soup work together to do that. So you have to call upon these, and that's why I'm putting it in the string to say, hey, call upon this so I can get this information. And this is the technology that's going to do it on the back end. okay? So we're calling that, technology to do that for us. And then, yeah, that's it. Then we could just print, and we're going to print what we want, which is our called upon function, which is soup. Okay, so as you can see, soup, we're just calling upon, get us some text and use this LXML. Okay. Let me see. Response, we're going to get it from this URL. We import it, our request, and we import request, beautiful soup. Okay, cool. So yeah, we should have everything we have for right now. So again, this is what it's saying is, hey, I want you to run this data for me. I want you to, go to this website and get some requests for me. And what they call that is called, we're parsing the data, P-A-R-S-E-D, parse, P-A-R-S-I-N-G, whatever, parsed, P-A-R-S-E-D, whatever. We're parsing it, meaning we're saying, hey, get ready, I want some information. And this information is going to be from this, this website, okay? It's kind of, again, if you went through JavaScript, you can read this. You just need to know, like, okay, what's beautiful soup? You probably got to do some more research on beautiful soup and LXML to make it come together. But again, we're making these technologies give us what we want. Okay, so that should be it. We're gonna print soup. All right, cool. So now we can just literally save this, save as, and let's save it as let's save it as scrape1.py in our desktop. Save, and then let's come down here. Let's run it, and running it will parse it. Again, we are, setting up our okie doke, you can say. We're setting up to get some information. And what's the file name? Scrape. Scrape1.py. Py is down here. Hopefully y'all guys can see it. And then we're gonna call upon it, press execute it. Let me put that up here. Execute it. And again, it takes a little time because I think I'm running too many things on my computer, honestly. But again, we're just parsing it, getting it ready to get what we need. And as you can see, it gave me what I need, which is the data. And the data is in HTML. And we don't really care about all of this. This is a lot of information. Thank you for giving me this information. Beautiful soup and LXML gave me the website. Now, this is a lot, don't want to read it. I only want to read my quotes, right? I only want to read the quotes, that's all I need. So I go in, already have that. Let's just go in and let's say under soup, under this line, enter, we're gonna say we only want the quotes. So let's do quotes in some type of function. We're gonna do soup.find underscore all, because that is the like a built-in function we're going to do, find all. Quote soup dot function dot find dot underscore all. We definitely need parentheses, and we're going to say what's our let's go into our website again, and they were somewhere in here, so we have to look somewhere in span and class is where we want to get just the quotes. We don't want everything. We just want our quotes. So it's somewhere in span and class. So we're going to say, let's look in span. We got that. And then we have to do a comma because I'll be forgetting commas a lot. And then, class. And this method is going to be text. Okay. Maybe I add it as a string because I wanted to. And a good thing with Visual Studio Code and a lot of these text editors like such, they give you colors so you can kind of see if something's built in, what's a function, what is a method, if something is right or wrong. And usually if it's wrong, it gives you like red squiggly somewhere. something in that sort. So, and it kind of finishes already. So you're probably like, how do you know some of these syntax? Because it's already finishing it for me. So let me just go here. If I was to do class underscore and, class underscore, and it's literally, well, it didn't want to tell me what class again, but you can see it has a built-in class. I can use class. I just know from doing this so many times that I have to just get the text, from it. And again, most of these like scripts, unless you are coming up with it on your own, like this is what I want, because you're a programmer. So you can literally plug and play with these strings, these functions, these methods. You plug and play with them, and you just literally just like you did with HTML, where like copy and paste and stuff. So that's really, if it's not from your own brain, you're usually gonna go to some tutorial. Stack Overflow is really where I like to go and get my codes. And I'll probably like, okay, well, I'm trying to, scrape some data or do something. And I'll find a code, I will copy and paste it, and I will literally take out what I want and don't want. So obviously, if I'm copying this from somebody, I would take out my URL because I want a specific URL. Clearly, I would already have my, little one up on how to web scrape. So I'll know like, okay, beautiful soup, I need my request. They already have this stuff, you need LXMM, LXML, and then you will probably maybe change where you're going to find this information. Again, that's where HTML comes in at. But again, I've always seen it in some type of span in class. And that's really it. And then you print whatever you want to print out, whatever that method is. So, again, you would really like probably get this script from somewhere else, and then you would just plug and play how you want it to plug and play. And that comes with knowing the basic syntax. And I'm going to say it again, as long as you went through the JavaScript, there should be no reason why you can't understand the syntax of Python, because it's kind of like the dumbed down version of it. So variables are the same, strings are the same, booleans are the same. Just a little bit different, a little bit more easier. Some things you don't have to do, like semicolons. But again, as long as you know the basic syntax, then it's nothing to, just like how Charmaine, you was able to say, hey, you missed the colon. And that's because you kind of, work with Python so much, the syntax. So as you work with it and you see, dang, it didn't work, what's going on? You Google it and you realize like, oh, it was a comma, it was a colon. And that's just, again, it's called problem solving, and it builds upon your skills. So no employer is going to be like, oh, you copied and pasted this code. The employer is going to say, can you do the job? Can you web scrape? And how you need to get it done, whether you're Googling, YouTubing, give me some quotes. And that's, what you can do as long as you understand the basics, right? Okay, cool. So we have that. Let's see, we have our quotes, and we're just going to get our quotes, and we're going to print our quotes instead of soup because we already print everything from that site. So we're going to say for quotes, for quote in quotes, right? Because we want to do quotes. Definitely get our little colon there. Print quote text, just the quote dot text. No dot, just that. Let me just make sure. Import request from BS4, import beautiful soup. The URL is what we're going to scrape. Make sure that was closed. Our response equals request, and it's going to get our response from our, I'm just going to do the same thing. It's going to get this website information. And beautiful soup is going to do that. And we only want to isolate quotes in our span in our class. Again, that's why you did HTML, because you know where the span at, you know where the class at. What are those? Those are CSS attributes. So it's somewhere in that, little paragraph that they did that made it bold and stuff. That's all right. We just want the text. That's for quotes, end quote, and print. I believe we do have to indent some prints going on. So let's indent that really quick. That looks good. hopefully. Um, so let's go ahead and save. And I guess we could just save. We don't have to like save as. We could just save it. And let's come in here and let's go ahead. Hopefully you guys can see. Let's go ahead and let's run it. So we're gonna do Python 3. And what are we running? Scrape 1. I could just go up here. Scrape 1, Python, and enter. Hopefully you guys can see up here. And it's gonna take a little time again. My computer is not that fast. Okay, there we go. So now, as you can see, it literally just took only the quotes, left out everything else because we had everything. I don't, we're parsing it. That means here's all the data for you. But we're just trying to get, it's better to be hated for what you are. I love, we want that quote. And again, we put it from span. It was somewhere in this span and somewhere in this class. As you can see, you see span class text. And we only want this. And then when we set the script to only get it, now look, we literally only have our quotes. We have no extra information. Okay, so again, if your boss was like, hey, like for me, with my social media manager, I say, can you create some quotes for me? I need some quotes so I can post every day on my social media. So what my social media manager will do was web scrape from quotes to scrape or any quote site they want and only get the quotes, print them out, and they can literally just come here and create posts out of these instead of, coming through it, shifting through, copy and paste. They could just have this. We already know how to create a file on our desktop, put this in the file, and, it's just easier, right? Or if I just say, hey, can you just give me some quotes instead of my, my assistant or whatever, just sitting here copying and pasting each quote, they could just run this script and send me this list. And then I have it. And that just shaved off like 2 hours of their time. So they probably billed me for 2 hours, but they only did about, how much did that take? Like 20 minutes. So they did 20 minutes of work, but got 2 hours out of me. And that's just the game. I can't be mad at that. We agreed on what we agreed on. So what, how to do it quicker. I'm paying for your experience, not, each period of time, right? So yeah, this is web scraping. And man, what you can do with this is crazy. And again, like I said, I started off with, learning from a web scraper. He's still a part of the team. I pay him to web scrape for me every now and again when I don't want to do it. And, there's real money in it. He's also on Upwork. So I say, hey, anybody wants some web scraping? They do that. There's another young lady in here. She actually graduated from data science. She graduated from school with a data science degree. And she web scrapes for me as well. So, like there's people who went to 4 years of school who are, doing web scraping. And here I am. I just showed you in an hour. So take this and do it. All right. You should be doing this on your own and put this on your resume. Now, I do have a project for you guys. I'm going to put it in the Discord. Let me bring my Discord over here so you guys can kind of see. CS Bootcamp. Okay. Oh, yeah. Can you teach me about Python, brush up on arrays and loops? Oh, yeah, we can do something. I'm interested. Yeah. We can definitely do some stuff. We can hop on one time. Maybe not today. Maybe this weekend, because iOS app and Android app isn't too long. So we can hop on this weekend and just, do some stuff together. We'll see. I don't want to make no commitments. But here is a web scraping project that I definitely will put in the Notion for you guys. But I think this is so cool for my blockchain developers. Web scraping project idea, web scrape crypto prices. So for me, I am kind of on the stock market because that's what I'm trading right now. So I get stuff from Yahoo Finance, but you can actually do on the crypto side. How about you scrape some of, the top crypto prices? Maybe you can pick like 5 coins, 5 tokens, and decide that I want to get their pricings or I want to get their future, whatever their price is right now. You can do that, right? You can go to coinmarketcap.com and literally just get the coins that you want and, scrape that data. And that's just a fun thing to do. Put on your resume, say that you did it. I don't know how you want to use it, or you can do whatever you want. But I think this is, if you don't have an idea, this is a good start. Web scrape some crypto prices. Um, it's very cool to have this. Have that. Maybe you are into, doing a bot, building your own trading bot. I've, learned a lot with that. So here's something that helped me start me off with trading this bot. Remember that if you are into trading and you are into making a bot, your bot is only as good as your technical analysis, right? So if you're not a good trader, your bot won't be a good trader. And your bot will only be as good as you as a programmer. So if you're not really good at programming, then your bot probably won't be good at running, right? So those two kind of go hand in hand. That's why it's taken me some time to actually come out with it, because I'm still learning trading and I'm still learning programming. So let me make some money off of it. And I don't know if you guys been watching, but I've been, consistently doing like 4 to 5% gains a day. No, it's not really big. Like some people, they post 50, they post 60, 70, 80, and that's good and dandy. But if I can do 4 to 5% gain every day, no matter how the market is moving, then, that's compound is always good. I was able to literally take a $50 account and turn it into $200. One time I took a $7 account and turned it into $120. Those are not big numbers, but I mean, if you just look on a scale, $7, and let's say I turned it into, again, 150. If I took $700, I can turn that into 1,500. If I had $7,000, 150,000. So of course, if I had a bigger number, I would have gained more. But just $7, like, tell me who can trade with $7 and really make 100. It took me a week, and I compounded. And I did very small trades. I was trading SoFi, I trade gold. Shout out to Ale. I didn't know anything about gold was that cheap. So I was trading gold, SoFi, and PLRT. Those are really small stocks that have a lot of movement and makes money. Let's see, what else can we do? Oh, with Python, you can also, we talked about APIs, right? It was building APIs. You can build an API in Python, right? You can do your own API calls. Very, very, very cool. Very something that you should really put on your resume. And that is really it, really. Take that knowledge, right? I showed you the basics of Python. We didn't go too deep, which we'll probably go into later on. Probably do some we'll probably do like a real, it'll probably take like 2 hours almost, like a real session to where I give you every single little detail. Not every single little detail, but enough details to have the basic, understanding. And then you take that and you literally web scrape, you automate things, you build APIs, you build bots. I don't know. You do some things that you can put on your resume, especially if you want to become a developer of some sense. This is not going anywhere, right? You learn Python, you learn how to do APIs with Python, you learn how to, automate things. You're honestly never out of a job because even, you can create a ledger, right? Because even Python, even blockchain deals with it. I think I had something. Maybe I may share my ledger code, because again, when I first started Python, the first thing I did was build a blockchain ledger. Obviously, it was private and local, but I built my own ledger. I didn't have any hashing, so I didn't add the SHA-256 to it, but I definitely was able to. You can input in your ledger. You can input something like, let's say I, did a transaction for $23.56. You can do that, and it will literally give you that input back. Very cool, very easy, honestly. I ain't gonna say very easy because it took me some time. However, what I was running into issue was just what you saw me do. Like, I didn't have a comma here. I missed colons there. I wasn't indenting here. So that's really my troubles with coding, is the little things. Yeah, that's it. Let me pull up Stack Overflow for you guys. I think that Stack Overflow, I think that that's, oh, we don't need, We don't need our thing. This is really good for developers, really good to share your code, to get other code. I'm not signed in, but I can do something like Stack Overflow Python. I can do Stack Overflow. Oh, for loop. How about that? So you want to know about for loops in Python? If you ever Google something and you see if you see Stack Overflow, go to it and just take a look. Again, it's like a forum where a whole bunch of smart folks, a whole bunch of coders come together and tell us if we, whatever we're doing. So you see here, you have this, you can do the same, whatever, you know. And it just has other stuff. You just list into it, You should also know in Python that iterating over integers, as you can see here, you can iterate. We talked about iterating over integers in JavaScript. And again, it's the same language, the same thing. And once you get this knocked down, Solidity is going to be a breeze. We're going to go over Solidity later on, but it's going to be a breeze. You're going to be like, oh, that's all it is. It's kind of low-key easier, but we're going to create our first type of smart contract with it. But at least, again, I'm trying to build up the knowledge. So when you see these things, we could just do it. It doesn't take us a long time. So yeah, that's really it. Do any of you guys have any questions or comments on this lesson? It's kind of long. My apologies.
You're good. I wanted to say that I recently learned that there are some people out here who are in tech who get these jobs and they do exactly what you said. They get part of their jobs automated via a script, so their job can get done earlier. And then they're able to tech stack and they're able to get multiple jobs. So like every job goes from like an 8-hour day to complete their project to 2 hours. So they're able to do 3 jobs paying like 150K because they've automated it.
That is so correct. Okay, because I do about 2 hours of work every day, and that's because I'm forcing myself to stay active, but I literally just run these scripts. They do it for me, and of course, my team is like, okay, well, this may take you like 2-3 hours to do. And especially with tickets that you have to accomplish and, you're having other meetings, this may take, could take a whole week. So we'll give you a week to do this. And it literally takes me 20 minutes. So I have a whole week of just chilling. And what do? That's why, again, I put more in my brain. I learn more. So I'm learning blockchain. I have my customers. So I have to automate my job or it just wouldn't work with any other work that I have, So yeah, definitely.
Learn how to sharing that with us. That's dope.
Yes. And what I used to do, is I would learn the basics of things and then I would go to Upwork. Let me show you guys. I would go to Upwork or Fiverr and I would find these folks to just give me what I need, whether the code or whatever. And since I know the basics, I kind of already know how to run it. Like I know how to install Python and run it and look at, my command prompt. I may just not know the actual code or how to come up with the code. And these folks do. And I'm going to pay them, let's see, a data scientist. That's where I went. And,
Yeah,
this is
kind of
night.
stuff.
What y'all say?
I think so. I gotta look at my schedule when I get home.
Maybe. All right. So yeah, so you come here and you pick a data scientist, obviously you would see more. They got consultations. If you see, let me just click on one just for the heck of it. I gotta sign in. But they'll tell you like their pricing, like it'd be like $40 an hour or something, or $100 per task, or I don't know. It all depends on your budget and their expertise. But as you can see here, like you can put yourself here, like who, this is like your resume. People are really getting paid from here. I use this, I'm on this, and I just think you guys should do this. Like this is almost like doing like Uber Eats, right? But you're doing it from a computer. I don't know if you guys know about TaskRabbit. That's another thing that you can do with these skill sets. Little task. Elon Musk, he actually has I don't know what his thing is called. I don't know if he, let me see what his thing is called, but you know, he basically has to where you can do little things for him, little tech things, almost like the crypto bounties, right? What we were doing. But this has a whole bunch of other stuff, even outside of IT. Just little tasks you can do for money, right? Like there should be no reason why you cannot pay rent, why you cannot buy groceries, even though it's expensive, why you can't have gas. Like, you know, look at this, $29 an hour. I used to shop, I used to be a personal shopper for folks. I worked for Instacart and Shipped. That's when they first came out. And I was making bank with it, you know. And the folks, since I grocery shop for them, people who will pay for me to grocery shop for them are people who got obviously a little bit more money. So they would tip me like $20 at a time. So I'm literally banking out here. And that was the beginning of my, you know, gig days. So get on TaskRabbit, do something, services, all services. They had, oh, virtual online tasks. That's what it is. I thought it was tech. But you know, you can research because people don't want to Google. You can be a Googler for somebody. You can organize somebody's stuff. We just showed you how to organize files. So you can automate that, you know, data entry, like, man, I'm trying to tell y'all. And then of course, for my crypto people, crypto bounties, you know. Crypto bounties are great, great, great. Maybe I'm gonna just put crypto bounty. And we go to crypto bounties, and again, you do the same task, but for on the blockchain and for crypto, for you know, so you get paid in crypto, and it's all different types of stuff. I sent the list of you know the what's out here, and you know, pretty. I wouldn't say simple stuff, but as you start learning more, you'll see like, oh, I can do that. You know, let me see another one. Because there was one I wanted to show you guys. Crypto bug bounty programs. And this is good too. Like, you know, you do something for an open source project and you add that to your resume and you're getting a blockchain job quick because they're like, oh, you contribute, you know. And again, it's all different types of, you know, for money. So if you want to do, well, I know this ain't no damn $1 million. All right, so 200,000. So yeah, as you can see, like you're gonna have to create some stuff. But they got stuff that's cheaper than this. They got stuff for like $100, $1,000. This is clearly for someone who has a little more experience. I'll find that link and send it to you guys. Oh, this is because bug bounty. That's why it's so high. Because you're literally, again, if you fix problems, you make money. So just because you know the technology don't mean you're gonna make money. You need to learn how to fix problems. That's the only way to get money. $5,000 if you fix this bug for KuCoin, you know. Yeah, it's just, you know, different things. It may seem a little overwhelming now, but again, it's exactly what we're doing. We are, you know, you learn the basics, you learn what a variable is, you learn what a function is, you learn how to call upon functions. And once you know how to do that, then it's nothing to be like, okay, so I'm going to read this code. I'm going to see why isn't expected. Why is it doing what it needs to do? Why isn't the output, you know, is expected? And you use Google. I know you guys are probably like, it's not that simple. It is. You just have to know where to find stuff. And the only way you know how to find it is if you know the foundation. So you know how data travels across the network. So you already can tell like, okay, if this is this my issue or is this their issue? Or is this a network issue? Maybe the server's down. Maybe it has nothing to do with your code. Maybe your, you know, saying your server is down, your internet is messed up, you know? So if you don't even know the concept of that, then obviously you're going to keep trying to change your code and it's a network issue. Okay, so it's not a network issue, it's actually your code issue. So now we know, because we did a couple things that you have, is this a variable? We know what a string is. Does it have the other quotation? Is something showing with the red squiggly line? Let me pull up Visual Studio Code. Like is, you know, like we have the basics. If I do something like, you know, it's gonna be like, what is this? What is jets? What's the squiggly? Squiggly line means you need to pay attention to something, you know, when it's red. So clearly that needs to have some type of attention. And then again, if you run it, it'll have some error in the terminal as well to show you where to look. And if you can have a problem-solving mindset, look at things diagnostically, then you can do whatever, whatever you want. You can, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really the power of problem solving. I can't stress that enough, you guys. I've been in I made money lots of different ways. And it boils down to this problem solving. Where's the syllabus? You guys should always be referencing this, okay? Required text, I'm gonna put some more books in here for you guys. But how to win, I'm probably gonna put this on the front page. This is so good. I still go by this, right? Manage your time, focus on one thing, make gradual improvements, start small, look at things on a diagnostic level, diagnose things. Because if you can solve problems, then it just goes outside of tech. It goes into your life. Let's say that rent is due in a week. If you have a problem-solving mindset, you're going to solve that problem. Yeah, you may not have a job. You may not have a dollar in your pocket, but trust and believe, if you think problem-solving, somehow you're going to pay for rent. Okay, create a high value network. You have to network with folks. That's the whole point of the Discord. The Discord is free. So there's people that come in that's not a part of my, any of my students are part of the courses, and you don't know what they have to offer or what they may need. So talk to these folks, read quality books. Books are good. Get into deep work, set aside time. I expect you guys to watch me for an hour, listen, take notes, and then when we're done with this, go do what I just did. And as long as you come out with the same output that I came out with, then you're done, move on to the next lesson for tomorrow, okay? So block out all of that, put your phone on silent, just vibe out for 2 hours on doing what we just talked about, okay? And then find your purpose. Again, that is the whole reason why I came out with this boot camp. Instead of just a CCNA course, it's a boot camp. Because I want you guys to find your purpose, find what you want to put in this world. Yes, we can make money all day, every day, but money is not the end goal, because at the end of the day, you're gonna keep fighting. There's never enough money in this world to make you happy. So what purpose do you want? And that is, what do you want to put out here? Somebody was saying how they want to build generational wealth. So that means that you have to create something. That means you have to put something that you created into this world so it can now continue to make money, continue to do something for other people and make money off of that. And what is that? I mean, we can think of a million things. And don't make it seem as though like, well, somebody else is in there or the market's saturated. The market's never saturated for what you want. You are your own and you're going to come out with something different. There's a million different bread types. So some people choose Sara Lee, some people choose Wonder, people choose, all type of things. But there's a million companies. They don't stop new bread companies. So continue, what I'm saying? What do you want? What's your purpose when you want to put out there? We're still in week 2, so you still have time to think about that, right? We're going to do mobile development tomorrow, which is Androids. We're going to download my Android Studio and create an Android app. We got the iOS. We probably won't download too much. We'll probably just go through some things. And then, we got Solidity. And then from there, we're really just putting everything together, starting applying for jobs, starting to get our mindset right, making sure our projects are on our resume. So at least until, Monday next week is when you should, sit down and be like, okay, so I learned these technologies. What do I want to do? Am I interested in building mobile apps? Am I interested in website development? Am I interested in maybe, creating trading bots or APIs, or like, what do you want? Maybe you don't want to be a business owner and say, hey, I'm going to be an API creator. That's the business I'm going to have. Like something simple as that. Or I'm just going to data scrape for people. I'm just going to web scrape. That's my business. So I just go out and say, hey, I can get data from you for you. So if you guys, whatever you want to do it. Again, I have a tech company. So I always need people with these type of skill sets. Right now, small business, we're gonna work together to build. But later on, you still stay a part of this team. There's nothing to put you onto a salary. I'm gonna find salary people anyway. We'll contract people. I ain't gonna say salary. I'm wait on that. But contractors, So I mean, why not it be you since you took my course, right? But again, if it's not, if you don't want to do it, or if you just, taking it for support, thank you. I'm gonna find somebody to do it. So yeah, let's get this money, y'all. Let me see. Let me see. I just saw web scraping project. Oh, okay. So we will do some more web scraping, or at least you guys should have some type of project with web scraping if you want. We'll go through it over. We'll go through a little bit of it. And what I kind of want is a little contest. I won't say a little contest, but something like where you guys can complete these projects that I give out, and whoever completes the project and can actually, explain it to us, explain it to the class, I'll give them some TS merch, right? Anything from our TS website. Let's take a look at the merch, right? Job board, click here. Do we have some merch on here? Probably not. Let's just go to technically speaking .com, and I'll show you. I mean, it's not really much. It's just like clothes and stuff. Let's see, shop merch right here. And it's getting winter time, so maybe a hoodie, shirt, a hat. This is my favorite hat. Y'all probably see me in this all the time. I love buckets. Long sleeve. Technology technology should improve your life, not become your life. Properly position yourself. That's my favorite line, because you always want to put yourself in a good position in life, right? Inflation coming, you don't want to be on the bad side. You don't want to be like, dang, I can't even afford gas anymore. I remember times where I would put $10 in my tank. Like, that's just supposed to hold me. Like, that's all I got is $10. Now it's like I'm filling that thing up every time I go. Like, I don't care, just put it, just fill it up, so I was able to put myself in that position, properly put myself in that position. So you do that too. Anyway, so yes, here's some products. I think you guys should complete some of these tasks, and you complete these projects like web scraping or something, or whatever project I tell you guys to do. And you can, come on one of these classes and say, hey, look what I built. I was able to get data from coinmarketcap.com. This is how I did it. Look at here. And then, you can pick out some merch. I just want to encourage you guys to get these projects done. And I also want to show other students that just jump into it. 90% of you guys haven't even touched Python before. So the fact that you can not touch it, come into this class, do this project within a week or two, I mean, that is not trying to really tell y'all it's a 100K skill. Like, I don't want y'all sleeping on this. As easy as it sounds, it takes due diligence. It takes, your effort. Okay. So yeah, that's it, you guys. Questions, comments, concerns. Let me go into the chat. Chat box. Okay, no chats. Let me stop sharing. Again, like I said, I kind of did go over a little long here today, but I just want you guys to get 2 skill sets that are worth 100K. Well, I'm going to say on a very beginner level, at least 80K, 75 to 80K. You can take this automation, this file input output that I gave you, and this web scraping, and go make at least on the low end 75K a year, right? And just like how we talked about, automate that job, at least some of the work, and then go get you another 70K job, right? So now you got 2 computers at your desk, and you've automated both of them. So you probably really do 8 hours of work, but you split it up, 4 hours for this job, 4 hours for that job, and that is 70 plus 70 is what, 140. So you get 140,000. And if I was you, I would do that for like 6 months, maybe even a whole year, and then stack up, invest in passive income streams, go get you some vending machines, go get you, some maybe create like a digital product, which we'll talk about. I think we'll talk about that later. But yeah, go get some stuff, get you some passive income streams, and just invest in that and sit and chill and let that pile up. Man, I'm trying to tell y'all, man, really hard work for a year, maybe even 2 years of like hard ass work will set you a good 7 years. You could be chilling for like 7, 8 years before you have to go back and work again. I don't know. That's just good for me. I enjoy taking a break. I enjoy chilling. So hopefully y'all do too. I don't know what y'all want to do. But yeah, I'm out, y'all. That's it. I'm gonna have this uploaded. I'll probably edit it a little bit, but I'll have it uploaded tonight. And then tomorrow, Friday, yes, we'll talk about Android app at 5. Yeah. So yes, have a good night, you guys. Remember, work on these projects. I will be in Discord for the remainder of the night. I'm editing and studying. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out in Discord. I'm here. There's other folks that's here. If you ever need like a one-on-one or you want me to go over something, but in a class in a Zoom, that's what you pay for. So definitely reach out to me. You can reach out in a group and say, hey, maybe one day after class, let's go over these topics or whatever the case may be. Just tell me in ahead of time, of course. So yeah, good night, you guys, and talk to you later.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thanks.